So yesterday, I had a very busy day. I came home and greet the kids, etc. And my oldest son informed me that he has to register himself tomorrow morning. So this morning, uh, at school for 8 o'clock because there was a event that took place yesterday in his Dutch class, to which he um, he has to register himself. So we are 5 weeks into this school year, and he had to register himself at 8 o'clock quite a couple of times. Um, More so because he was late to class, or he just didn't have his stuff in order. So, anyways, decided to get on top of things, making sure he leaves the house even extra early to be in school extra early, and making sure that he has all his stuff with him as well as his homework is done, etc., etc. So, anyways, now he told me that he had to register himself because a boy pulled on his hair, and his automatic reaction was to turn around. So somebody sitting behind him. His automatic reaction was to turn around and kind of shake the boy because he was a bit irritated. So I was like, okay, so what happened to the boy? Yeah, nothing. It's only he that has to register. So I'm trying to make sense out of all of this because someone touched you and you're the one that got in trouble, you know? So I was like, I'm going down with you tomorrow morning before 8 at the school so they can help me make sense out of this because, come on, seriously? Anyways, got all the kids ready. We left the house like 7:30. Put his bike in the car, and then we drove down to the school. Anyways, he was there like 10 to 8. So I told him to go to the class where he has to register himself and let them know that he's been here. At the same time, I'm like, I went to the front desk and I told them, like, I want to speak to somebody to help me make sense out of all of this, because it makes no sense, right? So, anyways, his mentor was not present or is not present today. So they were like, okay, then they will get in contact with the, how they say it in Dutch, the lead coordinator for the year. So okay, fine. So they was like, come inside because at this moment I'm I'm all messed up. They were like, come inside and have a cup of tea or coffee until the coordinator is there. So I was like, I can't because I have to drop my other two kids to school. So they were like, okay, come back. Okay, fine. Now after dropping them to school, I got a call from the teacher, um, because they, yeah, heard that I was there, etc., etc. So they tried to explain me, making sense out of this nonsense I would consider. And their story was that the boy did not pull on his hair to what this coordinator got from the teacher. The boy did not pull on his hair, but instead he was tucking on his shoulder as to give him some information of something. And yeah, I guess my son at that moment was just irritated that, he reacted. So, yeah, together with my son, the coordinator then spoke about, different ways of, reacting to your irritation. Let me just put it like that. Okay, cool. So now the coordinator, after talking to him on the phone, he was like, yeah, he saw my son at 8:15. Um, but he heard that I was downstairs looking for him. Um, that was roughly before 8 o'clock. So he would then consider that my son was there on time. So he does not have to register himself tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock because they assume that he was late today, you know? So I was like, we walked in there at 10 to 9, 10 to 8, and I was approached by the reception, and then I turned to my son and I told him, go to the location or go to the class and go register himself before he reaches late. Now my thing is that I informed the coordinator about, if I was not there, you guys would have considered him late when he was on time, but you guys were not on time. You guys saw him at 8:15. That means if it wasn't for my beings, you would register him again as late, and he has to then come tomorrow morning and re-register, which that shit wouldn't have gone down with me, you know? So my advice to parents, especially here in the Netherlands, because the school system is just really fucked up, if I must say. My advice to parents is that if your child is in a situation where they need to register, make sure that that child takes a picture in front of the location that he or she is supposed to be at before 8 o'clock, so that that child has proof that he was there or she was there before 8 o'clock. They have me so messed up. They seriously have me so messed up. I got called last week by the coordinator so that they can inform me just how much times my son was late, blah, 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 blah. And that, you know, if it happens too often, there would be consequences. What those consequences are, I have no idea. At this moment, I really don't give a damn. However, I now have proof that you guys, the school, the coordinators, and everyone involved is not on time, but are making these children come on time only for you guys to be late and then draw them as being late. Like, that shit is unfair. It's unfair. So again, parents, be on top of shit. Do not always believe what is being said by the school. Stand up for your own kids, because they have no one else to stand up for them. That's all I have to say. As you can see my face, I was very, very irritated this morning because I'm trying to make sense of all this bullshit. You understand? And I have proof that he was there early. So because I was there, they will not register him as late. So he does not have to come tomorrow morning to register himself again. So later this afternoon, the coordinator again will have a conversation with my son, and just to like speak on matters in general, etc., etc. But as for my son, I now have to inform him that, you know, if he's ever late or whatever activities has taken place and, you know, calls for him to register himself 8 in the morning, make sure that he takes a picture there. Because me, this parent, if my son given me proof that he was there before 8 o'clock at that location, they will not see my child the next morning registering at 8 o'clock. They can look to get all kind of instances, corporation, whatever involved. But we will be holding that proof, because you guys need to be also on time and on top of shit. You know? It's done like a whole 30 minutes biking for him to get to school. I don't know with regards to the teachers, you know, traffic, etc., etc., whatever. I don't care. But my son was on time. That's all I have to say. Parents, be on top of shit. Speak up for your kids. Speak to your kids and let them also be wise. Have a good day.